Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. Heard Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern on PSAcard.com and the PSA Facebook page. The Great American Collectibles Show is brought to you by PSA and the National Sports Collectors Convention. Tonight's headlines are brought to you by Sports Collectors Daily. For all of your hobby news, features, and more, visit sportscollectorsdaily.com. And now, your hosts, Tom Zappola and Rico Petroselli.
Okay, we are broadcasting live from, I said Lake Placid, New York before, didn't I?
Yeah.
Lake Placid, Florida. My apologies. Beautiful Lake Placid, Florida. My name is Tom Zappola, with my partner, Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petroselli. We are broadcasting back to beautiful downtown Boston, up to New Hampshire, on the Great American Collectibles page, Facebook page. And we're going to bring our guest in right now. Before I read our headlines, Rick Snyder from Mint State. Rick, you there?
Yes, sir. Hello, everyone.
How are you, buddy? Ricky, you're in Myrtle Beach, correct?
I am in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Okay, before we talk a little Red Sox, Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, these are our headlines. Rare, 1933, Uncle Jack's Candy Ruth coming to auction. One of Babe Ruth's rarest vintage cards is about to hit the auction block, and it's one of the best among the few that exist some 86 years after they were issued. Heritage Auctions will offer a 1933 Uncle Jack's Candy Ruth card graded VG Excellent. It's the third highest graded of only the in the population report, and 8 examined by PSA. The ultra rare 30 card Uncle Jack set was distributed only in the Candy Company's New England home territory. In all, over 200 cards from the set have ever been submitted for grading, making it one of the scarcest of all time. Bottom line. It's going to start at $10,000 the bid, and it's going to go up to $60,000 or $70,000.
Well, you said it was one of the rarest.
It is. So, yeah, I mean, that's not bad. For hobby news, features, and much more, visit sportscollectorsdaily.com. Okay, we're chatting with our friend, Rick Snyder from In-State. Rico Petroselli is in the house. Rick, a $430 million contract. What does Mookie Betts get?
That's
I can only imagine what Betts will get, but if he can have the kind of year this year that he had last year, he can ask for probably just about anything he wants, and someone will give it to him if the Sox won't.
Lou Blasky, our producer. Louis, what do you think?
What's he get?
Yep.
He gets more than $35 million a year.
Rick?
That's not bad.
And by the way, probably the Yankees, maybe the Cubs, maybe the Dodgers, all of whom were willing to spend $30+ million this year and didn't get the guy they were after. Giancarlo Stanton's option year comes up next year. Comes up the year that Betts is up for free agency too. There's going to be a lot of money around for him.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So you don't think that? Well, we got no video tonight or something. Anyway, bottom line, Louis, is do the Red Sox let him go, or can they not afford him?
They're going to have no choice. He's going to free agency. He's playing for free agency. He's going to do it. He's going to take the tour and see where he signs.
Yep, I agree. 100%.
He has no leanings to stay in Boston. He wants to go test the free agent market.
Sure, especially after that kind of money's been given out. But the big thing is, in the past at least, when players got a ton of money like that, it raised all the salaries. You know what I'm saying? So the guys who were utility guys now, maybe they're making $2.5 million, right? They'll make $5 million.
Well, Machado raises the bar. Trout doesn't. Trout's a unicorn.
Oh yeah, right.
So yes, you said earlier, Louis, before we went on the air, you said that Trout. You think that he was basically a good deal for the Angels?
It's an excellent deal for the Angels.
Why?
Only $35 million a year. Nathan Eovaldi made $17 million a year. So
yeah, but
that tells you what the bargain is.
Well, yeah, but Nathan Eovaldi's their number one.
Yeah, right.
The Angels signed a $3 billion local TV contract. They get $150 million a year before they open the gates. Right. Before they get the national contract. Their payroll right now is only $160 million. They're only $10 million in the hole before they open the gates for the first game or get the national TV contract.
Rick,
plus, if he gets hurt during that period, I'm sure they have
insurance.
They have insurance on him, and if all they do is put him on the injured list, 60-day, whatever it is, and they collect.
All right, listen, before we chat with our friend Rick Snyder, and by the way, before we chat with Rick, this is our trivia question for our people out not in this place, but across the country. And here's what you're going to win, actually. This is kind of speaking about Manny Machado. How about this? A 2000 Topps Manny Machado PSA Mint 9. Mint 9. Here's your trivia question. This 1952 Topps player, this is a tough one. This 1952 Topps player was 0-2 lifetime. 0-2 lifetime, but taught and coached in the San Francisco public school system for 30 years with great distinction. Who was he? This 1952 Topps player was 0-2 lifetime, but taught and coached in the San Francisco public school system for 30 years with distinction.
I mean, where do you come up with these? Tell me.
You got to dig, baby. You got to dig. You will win a Manny Machado PSA graded 9. Pretty good card.
Manny
Pretty
Machado.
good card.
There's
All right,
another
Rick,
guy.
first of all, Rick, I want to publicly thank you and your beautiful wife, Beth, and Rico does too, for coming down to Delray Beach a couple of weeks ago for the Jimmy Fund auction and fundraiser at Boston's on the Beach in Delray. I can't thank you so much. We're going to hit just about the $20,000 mark. For
good.
kids' cancer for the Jimmy Fund, so everybody's pleased. Everybody worked hard.
All.
And thank you very, very much, Rick.
Well, it was an honor that you asked us, and it was for such an incredible cause that we couldn't help but say yes. And I think I mentioned to you, even through Facebook, that if you decide to do it again, I am your huckleberry. I will do it anytime you want to.
On one condition, if we do it again, you have to handle the eBay auction part of it.
Yes, sir, I will. And I'd like a bottle of Knob Creek, if not maybe something else myself.
Well, I had one for you, but Lou stole it and wound up drinking it.
Yeah, that's not true.
He wound up drinking it in a hot tub.
Only half of it.
Yeah, eBay did a great job.
Well, I don't blame him. If it wouldn't have been too strange, I probably would have joined him.
No, it was a wonderful event, and again, we raised money for children's cancer. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
We had great support from the Boston Red Sox. We had great support from the Ted Williams Museum, the Jimmy Fund itself, all of our great sponsors of the Great American Collectibles Show.
Yes.
How much did the Ryan card go for in the end?
Ryan card wound up going for $800.
Nice.
Yeah, went for $800, and that was special thanks to Lou Blassie and Leighton Sheldon and Nolan Ryan himself for donating the card. Mm-hmm. So yeah, went for $800, Louis.
And what did the Ty Cobb signature go for?
$1,800.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, the Ty Cobb card, Ty Cobb check went for $1,800.
Yeah,
I think that was the high flyer of all the events. But there was some other great stuff. The Red Sox tickets went for $800. The Red Sox Yankee tickets went for $800. So it was good. Yeah, it was very, very, very good.
Thank you all.
You want to add anything to it?
What? The Ted. Well, we had the Ted Williams bat. You know, whatever they went for, it adds up. It adds up. We had people at Boston on the Beach who were donating monies right there. You know, and they did a great job. Their staff at Boston on the Beach did a great job. You know, there was a lot of people there.
There was
a lot of people.
There was.
It was very successful and really enjoyable to do. It was a lot of hard work.
And you know something?
No doubt.
You know, I want everybody to know Rick Snyder came down to Florida on his own dime.
I know.
I mean, what did we do? We bought him a lunch. You know.
Yeah. Well.
And by the way, you owe me half.
I bought him a lunch.
No, you owe me money for that. By the way.
I'll pay for it.
Right.
Again,
Rick,
it was an honor to be asked, and it was a privilege to be there. So.
All right, Rick. Listen, let's chat about Mint State. You've got some great things happening. Let's talk first of all about the T206 sale, Rick.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the T206. You got some great cards in that sale.
How many did you pick up, Rick?
There was exactly 100 tobacco cards. Nearly all of them were T206s, but the backstory is what makes it so amazing. A gentleman, he had befriended an older woman who had no family members, and he had helped to take care of her the last 15 years of her life. And when she passed, unbeknownst to him, she left him everything. And after he and his lawyer researched to make sure that she did have no family members left who would contest the will, he took possession of all of her belongings, including a safe deposit box, which had her birth certificate, titles to her home, automobile and a stack of 107 tobacco cards in a rubber band that had been probably there for decades. And it is believed that it was this woman's grandmother who had originally collected the cards back in 1909 to 1911.
Wow.
And while the cards that were at the top and bottom of the stack, affected by the rubber band, definitely suffered some damage, the cards in the middle were remarkably well preserved. And so not only were there just some really amazing cards, there were 3 Cobbs in the stack. This gentleman took possession of the cards in the collection 4 years ago, and he was going to sell them as is when a friend of his told him that he really should get them professionally graded first to maximize the value of the cards. He sent them off to someone he trusts in California, who in turn sent them into PSA. He was told that it would cost $3,900 to get them graded. Well, because he really didn't know the value of the collection, he was just really upset that he was going to be spending nearly $4,000 in grading fees. So I think when he got them back, he was literally so disgusted, he just put them in a drawer somewhere and forgot all about them until about 2.5 weeks ago. And he reached out to me. I explained to him the process I go through. I figure out literally what these cards sell for, and I offer between 70 and 80% of that value. He was all for it. He really wanted me to purchase the collection. I spent several hours going through, all the sales data, made him an offer, and it blew his mind. He had no idea what these cards were worth. And so not only do I get a great collection, but I also just makes, someone's day to show that there are honest dealers out there who will pay you top dollar for your cards in your collection, treat you right, and he just absolutely loved every aspect of the transaction. And he posted a really, really beautiful review for me on Google, which sort of encapsulated the whole thing. And so that's the big T206 collection that I'm going to be selling over the next several weeks.
We're chatting with Rick Snyder from Mid-State. In a couple seconds, Rick, I want to talk about let's talk about some of the actual cards that you have. Again, for our viewers out there, sorry, Jay Gothrow, Dick Brodowski is incorrect. This 1952 Topps player was 0-2 lifetime, but taught and coached in the San Francisco public system for 30 years with great distinction. He was a very great coach and got Teacher of the Year, Administrator of the Year. Who was he? And you will win a Manny Machado PSA.
Was he a player?
9. Grady, yeah, but he was 0-2 as a player, so he wasn't that good a player, obviously.
0-2.
Rick, let's talk about some of the cards. Can you tell us about, besides the Cobbs, all redback? Did I remember?
The two of the Cobbs are the portrait red background, and the other one is the bat off shoulder. The really interesting aspect of the collection is that there are only 2 tobacco brands represented, because I believe the person who had originally collected them smoked 2 brands of cigarettes and accumulated all these cards, and one is Piedmont, but the other is Old Mill. And so about half of the entire collection actually have Old Mill backs, which was really unusual. There were 3 Cobbs. All of them had been graded PSA 6, X-Mint, 4 years ago when they were originally submitted. Because this gentleman had absolutely no idea about baseball cards or T206s, he was horrified when he got the grades. He thought, my goodness, 5s, 6s, and 7s. He thought he did terribly. He literally spoke to someone at PSA that said, no, your grades are spectacular. Those are fantastic grades for that set. And so he had a total of the 100 cards that were graded, 5 or 7s, got a bunch of 6 5s and 6s. I think half of the entire collection graded 5 or better, which is pretty remarkable for an original owner collection.
Besides the Cobbs, do you have any other Hall of Famers?
Yeah, there's some Sam Crawford's in there. There was a Cy Young.
Wow.
Let me see if I can even quickly pull up the list. But I think those were the highlights. There was a bunch of Southern Leaguers also in very, very high grade that, of course, if someone is not familiar with the set or with the hobby, they would have no idea that, a card of Scoops Carey was in there, which made me laugh because, as we talked about, that was the card that got you going on pursuing the T206 set. So
Yeah,
he was right there in the set, so I thought that was good karma.
It's interesting. I know most of the collectors know about the T206 set, but Southern Leaguers, those Southern Leaguers are very, very tough finds. Typically, a Southern Leaguer is about 30% more, Rick, than a common, 35% more.
It can go for even more. Some of these
Really?
Southern Leaguers can go for 2 times what a common goes for, if not even higher than that. There was, and I forgot which player it was, there's a Southern Leaguer in the set where, and this is regardless of the back, regardless of the tobacco brand on the back, it was tied with 2 others as the 7th finest known example that PSA has ever graded, which is phenomenal. And again, this guy had no idea he was sitting on top of all this. And so when these cards get rolled out for sale, it's the first time they've ever been really made available to collectors ever in their 100-year history.
Interesting. And by the way, we have a winner, our good friend Thomas Lane, Con Dempsey. Thomas, good job.
Who?
Con Dempsey. Con Dempsey's the answer.
Who the heck is he?
This 1952 Topps player was 0-2 lifetime, but taught and coached in the San Francisco public school system for 30 years with distinction. Con Dempsey is the man, Tom. Thomas wins Mint 9, Manny Machado.
Very nice.
Congratulations, Thomas. Make sure you text me your address. For our viewers out here, let's talk to the people right here in this, if they can hear me.
Before Brady's?
Beef O'Brady's. Here's a quick one. Who likes golf here? Anybody like golf? Raise your hand. First person who raises their hand that likes golf. Anybody? No one likes golf here.
Huh?
Does anybody like golf? You like golf? No. How about football? Who likes football? Right there. Here's a book for you. Touchdown Tony. Here you go.
Romo?
Enjoy. Tony Romo. Congratulations. All right, Rick, do you have a question, Rico? You keep bugging me. You keep
on what?
For Rick.
Oh, yeah, of course I have a question. I want to talk, Rick. I want to talk about this your great boxing sale. Now, to me, boxing. I haven't heard that you had anything in the boxing category.
I have the #1 all-time finest T218 champion sets, which is from 1910. It's 153 cards, absolutely beautiful, very tough to find in high-grade sets. And the highlight of the champion sets are the 61 boxers in it, the greats of the day. And folks who are familiar with my eBay listings will know exactly what I'm about to describe. When I put stuff out on eBay, I'd like to say something about the athlete, even if it's 1 or 2 sentences. And so I will always research all the subjects contained within a set. And when you look at some of the nicknames for these boxers and the stories behind them, it's like a different world. They fought, there's no gloves. Many times they're unlimited rounds. They have amazing nicknames, and many of them were Irish. And what their day job for many of them they were New York City policemen, and they just happened to be boxers. In addition to that. And so that is definitely the highlight of the entire set are those boxers.
Now, Rick, it's the T18, the T2, it's the T18, right?
Yes, T18.
Now, besides boxes, you've got
T218.
T218. And by the way, yes. I think I have about 60 of those cards, but in very low grades. I picked them up years and years ago. I should probably dig them out. Besides boxes, there are other there are categories. There are billiards players. What else? Track stars.
Right. There's Olympic track athletes, track and field.
I can see that, yeah.
There's billiard players. There's bowlers. There's aviators. And what's really amazing to think about how old the set is, the term airplane aviator didn't even exist about 7 or 8 years prior to the release of the set. Wow. And these were the earliest known airplane aviators who were constantly setting new records for altitude, for speed, and sadly, many of them ended up losing their life piloting planes because of just how really dangerous it was so early on in the history of flight. The most interesting card to me in the set is a gentleman who really made popular, I think the term is pedestrianism, which is walking. He literally walked thousands and thousands of miles throughout his life, almost reminiscent of Forrest Gump, except instead of jogging, he was walking. And he was born when Martin Van Buren was president of the United States. So imagine collecting a set where one of the subject matters was born in the early 1800s. It's just unbelievable.
Do collectors, Rick, do you find collectors, those of you know, that they stick to one area, all baseball, all boxing,
You mean
hockey?
back then?
Yeah.
I mean,
now too, even now.
Well, now I think many collectors do have a particular focus, whether it's a sport or a couple of sets or players. But at the same time, there are plenty of collectors who have a very broad appetite, for lack of a better word, and so they will go after multiple sports or multiple sets. Because most collectors have a finite budget, they have to really pick something to focus on. Yeah. But this is the kind of set, because it's referred to as a multi-sport set, you kind of get a little bit of everything. Now, you don't have the more traditional sports, such as baseball, represented, but because you do have some of the earliest cards of billiards players or bowlers, it is something that's almost unique. And the lithography in the set is just simply stunning. I mean, the pictures are amazing. Folks can actually go on eBay, go look at my listings, and they can just, scroll through them to see what I mean. They're just stunning artwork. And it's just an amazing set. I think at times it's very much overlooked because it's not driven by baseball. But like I said, the boxes really do give it a lot of value and interest to collectors.
I got requests. I got about 5 requests from Japanese people, and they tried. I know it was that they were, collecting American players or former American players, because when they wrote their letter, it was, you could tell they were like broken English. And I had 2 people from Israel, same thing. That it's amazing that people, from other countries who are collecting, I don't know, do they see games on TV? Do they have, I'm just wondering how they get to know these players or how they start their collections. It's interesting. I mean, Japan has baseball.
Oh, that's because of baseball, right?
Yeah. So it's interesting. Not a question. It's just I just want to mention a couple of things because I get paid on the word. I didn't want to say anything.
Listen, we are chatting with Rick Snyder from Mint State. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk for a few minutes with Jared Kavlie from Pristine Auctions, and then get back to our good friends.
Yes.
Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Mint State is a PSA authorized dealer specializing in high-grade vintage sports and non-sport cards. Established in 2002 and in its 18th year of full-time operation, we utilize an extensive network of sellers, collectors, and other dealers for the millions of dollars in collectibles we sell every year. Mint State has assisted with many of the finest collections ever assembled and offers sellers, such as the owners of the Lucky 7 Find, an attractive consignment package in addition to outright purchase. For more information, please visit mintstateinc.com or contact Rick Snyder by email at mintstate@msn.com or by telephone at 630-365-9790. Happy hunting!
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auction and Collectibles Company. If you're looking to maximize your return on your sports cards and collectibles, look no further. We at Memory Lane Auction House offer you several options to achieve top dollar for your collectibles. Whether you're looking to auction or sell privately, we're the #1 choice with over 17 years in the hobby. Nobody will work harder to achieve your goals. Just call us today at 877-606 5263. That's 877-606-LANE. Or visit us on the web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Go with the best. Go with Memory Lane.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rico Petrocelli, and I'm very excited to talk to you about our new partner, Panini America. Panini America is the world leader in licensed sports and entertainment collectibles, and we're proud to have them as the official trading card of the Great American Collectibles Show. When it comes to modern trading cards of your favorite players, Panini America leads the way in terms of innovation, design, creativity, value, and fun. From landmark brands such as Donruss, Prism, and Contenders to high-end juggernauts like Flawless, National Treasures, and Immaculate, Panini America delivers the hottest trading cards of the biggest names in the NBA, NFL, MLB, PA, NASCAR, soccer, and college. When you want to collect the best, collect Panini America. Ask for it at your local hobby shop or at mass retailers like Target and Walmart. And you can always find Panini America online at icollectpanini.com. Panini America. Who do you collect? How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectibles Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Okay, we are back. We are broadcasting live from Beef O'Brady's in Lake Placid, Florida, the middle of Florida. We're in the middle of Florida, Rico.
Yes, they are in the middle of Florida, and this is this too, because most people who come down Florida they always want to be near the
ocean.
The ocean, yeah, you know, or the Gulf. But
we're near Lake Okeechobee.
This is a lot of lakes here, just beautiful.
A lot of alligators.
Well, I wish.
Right? All right, on the phone with us right now is our good friend Jared Kavlie from Pristine Auctions. Jared, how are you, my friend?
Hi, Jared.
Doing good. How are you guys?
Good, man. We haven't talked in such a while. Jared, you know, I was on your site, and I think, you know, I want our viewers and listeners, whoever is not on the Pristine site, you should really check it out because it's one of the, in my opinion, one of the best auction houses in the country. You offer so many different types of auctions, and you basically cater to every pocketbook. You could
price-wise and all.
Yeah, I mean, you can. The budget-conscious collector can go to your site. The guy that has a few extra bucks to spend. Let's talk about some of them. First thing that really intrigues me is a 10-minute auction. How does that work, Jared?
Yeah, that's something unique to our site. We started with a daily auction where the concept was we were actually kind of wanted to do the Woot idea where one item comes up every day to get people coming back, but then that transitioned into a whole, hundreds of items a day. But and then after that became popular, and we knew that, as like me, when I go to an auction, I want something now. I don't want to wait weeks or a month in order to get my bid in and see if I won. So that's the idea with the 10-minute auction. Is there's actually 3 lots that pop up every 10 minutes, and they're only live for 10 minutes. There's no reserves. There's no extended bidding. So once that 10-minute clock is up, those items disappear, and then 3 new lots pop up. So some great stuff and some great deals every once in a while you can snag in there.
What about your weekly auction?
Yeah, so we actually have a couple weekly formats. We have on Tuesdays, we have our weekly format where there's no reserves on anything. So every Tuesday. And then Wednesday is our classic, what we call the classic auctions. That's actually ending tonight. That's a little more premium stuff typically. There's there's about 13,000 or 14,000 lots in the classic auction that ends tonight. And then that's coupled with our daily auction that'll end tonight as well. So every day with us, there's just tons of no reserve stuff, and there's always a ton of lots ending. So always something to see with us.
Interesting. Jared, how do you determine what you're going to use for the 10-minute auction as opposed to the daily auction, for instance, as far as items?
Yeah, that's a great question, and most of that is really just with conversations with our consigners. We've got a lot of good relationships with a lot of big consigners who generally will give us their preferences. If no preferences are given, based off our expertise of how certain things do in certain categories of auction, we'll make that decision for them. 10-minute auction, usually the items that are going to work there are a little more, have a wider reach. You don't want something too unique there, just because, of course, it's only going to be there for 10 minutes. And even though there are always hundreds of people on the site at the same time, you still want to, put something there that's going to appeal to the masses versus something that's a little bit too unique. So the more unique, the more valuable something gets. Usually that's going to go to a format that runs a little bit longer, but not always. I mean, we've had some pretty crazy stuff go through the 10-minute and the daily auctions pretty regularly. So
when you say the 10-minute and the daily, weekly, what time do they go on? I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with it. But is there a certain time when they go on and you got to let everybody know?
Is it 24/7?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully one day it will be, but the 10-minute auction is the only one that's on its schedule, and that goes from, I'll say it in Eastern time. We're in Arizona, so our time zone's a little different, but Eastern time it starts at 6 p.m. and goes until 11:30, so 3 to 8:30 our time, but Eastern's now a 3-hour difference.
So that's quite a bit. That's quite a bit of material.
Okay.
I mean,
absolutely.
That's great.
So I'll ask the $64,000 question. Does it ever occur that you do not sell something?
No, really. I mean, because in our daily auction, and that's really part of the appeal, right? So there are some lots that inevitably are going to slip through the cracks and people are going to get a steal on. But for the most part, stuff really, because of our advertising and our traffic that we get, for the most part, stuff will go for a range that you expect it to. But yeah, of course, I mean, part of the fun is there's got to be some deals here and there, right? In order to keep interest and for people to want to come back and go for that steal. So part of the fun of the auction.
Very, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Jared, the other thing is, thank you so much for your wonderful donations to the Jimmy Fund phone-a-thon, telethon that we did. We raised, I think we're going to hit around $20,000 for the event and for the Jimmy Fund Children's Cancer. And with sponsors like you guys were a very, very, very big help, and we
really
appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. No, thank you guys for doing that. That's great. We're always honored to be able to help with something like that.
Talk to us about your website. Where can people reach you?
Yeah, pristineauction.com. So I always like to spell it Pristine auction.com.
Great. Thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us, pal.
Thanks, Jared.
Absolutely. See you guys at National, hopefully.
We will see you there. Jared Kavlie.
All right. We'll see you
Take care.
All right, take care.
While Louis is getting Rick back, Louis, can we have a little eBay music?
Wow.
That's eBay music.
You got the heavy. By the way, $64,000 question's nothing anymore.
I know, you're right.
$1,064,000.
Go ahead.
I want to talk about, as always, and I got to tell you, this is one of my favorite things to do on this show, about eBay, you know? They are good friends. If you're looking for autographed memorabilia, hard-to-find collectibles from your favorite team, that officially licensed MLB jersey or that New York Yankees predetermined American League pennant, go on to eBay after the show. Hey, Yankees are pretty good.
God, just read, will you please? I don't want to hear about the Yankees.
You can find just about anything on eBay. How about a Stan Musial PSA DNA autograph ball for $46?
Yep.
Or a 1952 Bill Dickey Topps PSA graded 4, $177.50.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, that's nice.
Here's one of Topps 1968 Rico Petrocelli PSA 10 Gem Mint card, $1,845.
What?
That's a good deal. That's a good deal. If you're on a budget, if you're cheap, you live in a tent, you live with your mother, you live with your mother-in-law, or if you're almost broke, you can pick up a 1972 Bobby Valentine ungraded card for 49 cents.
Yeah, I would tell you, you're mean. You're a mean man. Well, they have, they meaning eBay, has zillions of cards for less than $20. T206 cards for under $20. A little distressed, but great for novice or intermediate buyer or the guy that is on a budget. eBay has 162 million users and 250,000 people per day go to the site. Remember, if you want the very best in sports collectibles, you can find it on eBay.
Good man, good man.
Hey.
All right, let's get back to our friend. Is Mr. Snyder back with us?
Yes.
All right, Rick, we're gonna go off the rails a little bit. I need some advice. I'm a new collector. I don't have a lot of money. I want to invest, but I also love the hobby. I like to collect. So let's talk about the T206 set first. Should I invest? Am I better off investing in, I don't know, let's say a PSA 4 common, maybe a half a dozen of them, rather than a PSA 4 Nap Lajoie?
Always go for the Hall of Famer, the more valuable player. Another concept you'll always hear, and this is regardless of the collectible, is to really push your budget if you're truly looking at it as an investment. If you can afford a PSA 1 of Ty Cobb, that's what I would also recommend. He is as popular, if not, basically the most popular player in the set, cards like the Wagner aside. And again, just from a purely investment standpoint, I would say you just can't go wrong with the absolute legendary players, the Cy Youngs, the Chrissy Mathewsons. But if, you're interested in having a collection where it's not just about the money, then by all means, the commons, because they're so relatively inexpensive compared to the bigger star cards, you just get more bang for your buck and you get your hands on more cards.
But what if you can't, say he's just found out that he didn't pay a bill and he's got to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, he doesn't have as much money. What about the 52 and in the 52, 54, tops?
The sets?
I'm right. Well, the players, yeah.
I mean, is it the same rule of thumb for like a 52 top set or a 55 or a 56? You can go on eBay and you can see a 52 common, graded 4 or 5 for, really, really, really cheap money, sometimes under $10. Are you better off going again, Rick, with the philosophy of buying a Hall of Famer rather than a common, or 10 commons or 20 commons?
Absolutely, because those are the greats of the game. Those are the players that are going to be collected forever and will always be the drivers. Mantle, of course, being the number one player. So again, if your budget could allow for it, if you can get your hands on even if it's a PSA authentic 52 Mantle, do it. To me, it's a much better investment than if you can get your hands on 100 commons that are graded 4 or 5, even though they may have comparable values. So, yeah, I would say yes, it's the same philosophy.
I was perusing eBay yesterday, and I always kind of zero in on, like, for instance, a 52 Topps Mantle.
Yeah.
And there was one that was on for about $1,000, a 52 Mantle, but it was totally trimmed. The white was totally, trimmed off. It was PSA authenticated. I think it was like $1,200. Even a card like that would be a good investment?
Absolutely, because something that sort of gets lost is that the overwhelming majority of collectors in the hobby do not collect graded cards. They're simply too expensive. And so for the average collector who doesn't have a $5 or six-figure budget for their collection, that may be the only opportunity that they will ever get at an actual authentic mantle, one that has been, quite frankly, so altered that it has such a pronounced effect on its value. But for the average collector, a card like that is better than never owning a mantle at all. So again, I would say that it actually is a pretty good investment. If you can get it at the right price. I mean, you don't want to overpay regardless of what card it is or the grade, but if you can get it at the right price, absolutely, even a card like that would be a good investment.
I wanted to ask you, do you have to travel much to get your pursue consignments, people who want to consign with you?
We do. It's mostly regional, but once in a while we have a chance to really do some traveling. We actually had an opportunity about a month ago to meet a cousin of Bobby Richardson, the ex-second baseman of the New York Yankees.
Great guy.
And not only did we buy Bobby Richardson's uncle's, childhood sports car collection, this gentleman, his cousin, has Bobby's bat that he used in the first game of the 1960 World Series, and Richardson is the only player to ever play on the losing team of the World Series and be named the MVP, and that was the 1960
That was
series.
amazing. Yeah.
And so it's really amazing, the material that is still out there, and I had a chance to hold it. It's a connection that you really don't get even with a baseball card, and so it was really, really neat. And we had to do a little bit of traveling, Beth and I, to meet with this gentleman, but we thought it was worth it.
Interesting. Rick, getting back to the collections for a minute. So a collector sees a 1956 complete Topps set, ungraded, for $3,000 or $4,000 for the whole set. Is it worth taking a shot at? I mean, how do you determine what cards to get graded and what cards not to get graded? Do you just get the Hall of Famers graded?
It all depends on there's a grading threshold. So for the more valuable players, for instance, like a Mansell, you could argue the threshold doesn't even exist. That if you buy that set, you have to get the Mansell graded regardless of the condition that it's in. For the other players, as the value goes down, the grade that you would need to get back from PSA goes up in terms of just making it a simple economics question. Does the incremental expense of having it graded get outweighed by the incremental value that's added from the professional grading? Many times you will see with, I'm going to say more of a mid-grade set, you'll see the keys graded, the Aaron, Koufax, Mansell, where the majority of the set is just not worthwhile to spend the money to have graded. And if the keys typically are of a certain grade, you can usually be assured that the rest of the set is at least no worse. Many times you'll see a set like that where the man-only Aaron, the Koufax, may grade at a certain level, but sometimes the rest of the set can actually be a little bit nicer because, again, of just in terms of the value difference between a common and a superstar.
Yeah, Rick, I want to ask you, do you think that a Mike Trout, Machado, and Harper, because of their big contracts, will their cards, certain cards, say rookie, whichever is more valuable, you think they'll go up because of that? Because of the big
I don't know if it'll
contracts?
go up because of the contract per se, but as they continue to pile on their stats and awards, the perfect example, and it's a player that I know, is key for all you guys, is Tom Brady. almost every single time he has yet another Super Bowl ring, his cards continue to go up. You think that there's just no way, you know, a rookie card of his can sell for more than $250,000, and then you realize he wins another Super Bowl, and a rookie card of his can sell for $400,000.
That's amazing.
And so, as these players continue on their path and just separate themselves in terms of, and that could be Trout's destiny, to basically be the premier player of the last 50, 60, 70 years. I mean, possibly even of all time. His card values will actually continue to increase, even though they're pretty high right now.
Interesting. We are chatting with Rick Snyder. We got a couple of more minutes, Rick, before we let you go. Let's go back to the T206 set. When is it going to be online for people to take a look at?
I am hoping to have everything listed by this Sunday, and if not, definitely by Monday.
This Sunday, definitely by Monday. There's 100 T206 cards.
Mostly T206. There's actually a few T205s.
Oh, really?
And that's the gold bordered set.
Yeah.
And because of how well preserved these cards are, the gold on the border on these cards are probably the nicest I've ever seen.
And
I mean,
that's,
it is unbelievable. I mean, you look at them and you think, well, this is what the card probably just about looked like when it was first pulled out of a pack. I mean, it actually is this incredibly lustrous gold that you just normally don't see.
Well, because especially that set is really next to impossible to get in any kind of good condition because of the gold borders that just kind of chip off, correct?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And these cards are really no exception. I mean, there's only a handful.
Right.
The overwhelming majority of the cards were from the T206 set, but there was, I think there was 6 or 7 T205s. And even though, again, technically they are mid-grade cards, there are certain attributes about them that you just normally don't see. Same thing with the T206s. Many of the backs are just completely devoid of any tobacco staining, and many times you see heavy toning or aging of the T206s, whether it's the front borders or on the backs, and many of these cards don't have it. They're just unbelievably super clean, as though, like I said, they had been put away for decades.
His name is Rick Snyder, Mint State.
Yeah, Rick.
What about the website address?
It is www.mintstateinc.com, the name of our business.
Rick, we are so thrilled that you, again, you joined us. Congratulations on your birthday, and also you're building a new house, correct?
We are. Beth and I are very blessed. When we moved to Myrtle Beach, we rented. We still do, because we wanted just to be absolutely certain this is where we wanted to move to, and we do. We absolutely love it. And we're building a home. The name of the town is Murrells Inlet. It's about 20 minutes south of Myrtle Beach. Nice. And we're hoping that we can close on the house by the end of next month. It's going to be very exciting. It's a mid-state because it's also, in essence, a home-based internet company. It'll also have new digs. We'll have a ton of space to be able to work from, and really looking forward to the move.
And have that extra room for Tom and Ellen when they come over.
When we come, we'll stop through on the way back to Boston.
We'll have a guest bedroom just for you guys. I think you'll love it. We're going to be on a lake. You can do
he'll
fishing.
stay a month.
He'll
stay a whole month.
It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, Rick, we love you. Take care of yourself.
Take care.
I love you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to chat with Derek.
How are
Derek from Heritage.
Yes, I like Derek.
Say hi to Joanne. Hi, Joanne.
Hi, Joanne. How you doing, Daddy?
We'll be right
Joanne's
back.
Mom.
When it comes to meeting a budget, Pristine Auction has something for everyone. Jared and his staff at Pristine offer several auction formats, all the way down to a daily auction. Each auction ends nightly with hundreds of lots, and by the way, all daily auctions are offered with no reserve prices. Whether it's cards, signed jerseys, sports, or non-sports memorabilia, Pristine has it all. Pristine Auction is also proud to partner with Hope Sports in Mexico. Our mission is to help those in need. That's Pristine Auction, Pristine. Simply go to pristineauction.com and begin bidding. And don't forget, mention the guys from the Great American Collectibles Show. That's Pristine Auction, meeting your collectible needs.
Since 2008, PWCC has tracked card collecting data and proven that investment caliber cards are the way of the collecting future. If you click on pwccmarketplace.com, you'll have all the information needed to make wise decisions. PWCC's comprehensive tracking and sales metrics demonstrate that trading cards have outperformed the S&P 500 by more than 200%, with a return on investment of 153%. PWCC believes that trust is the bedrock of the trading card marketplace, and they will handle every trade with the highest level of integrity and care. Create an account to join their mailing list and gain full access to PWCC's suite of investor tools, including the PWCC indices and auction history sales database. It's all about the analytics, and you'll have them at your fingertips. Learn more by going to their new website, pwccmarketplace.com. Whether you are buying or selling, you'll now have all the tools that you'll need to make that educated decision. That's pwccmarketplace.com, providing analytics that investors can depend on.
If you're a collector and want the best return when you sell your cards, look no further than Small Traditions. As a matter of fact, select up to 100 of your best raw cards for submission to PSA, and they will pay you for all the expensive shipping, insurance, and even the grading fees all up front. Their expert staff will screen and prepare your cards for grading and will auction your graded cards at a 0% seller's rate, subtracting only your grading fees after your successful sales. Grading may be foreign or intimidating for some, but at Small Traditions, they do the legwork. Contact the good folks at smalltraditions.com or call them at 303-832-1975. If you're looking to maximize the value of your collection, remember, Small Traditions equals big results.
Let's go! Batter up!
Hi, everyone. This is Rico Petrocelli. JustCollect.com, a leader in the vintage sports card industry, is giving free appraisals on your vintage cards. They'll evaluate your collection for free and let you know the value of it at no cost and no obligation. If you're ready to sell, JustCollect.com will offer you industry-leading prices to buy your card collection. To begin your free baseball card appraisal, visit JustCollect.com or call them at 732-828-2261. That's JustCollect.com for your free vintage card appraisals and top buy prices for your cards. Check out JustCollect.com today.
With record-breaking sales from everything from the white border T206 Honus Wagner for $3.12 million to some great items that support the Jackie Robinson Foundation, Golden Auctions has set the highest standards for the finest in sports cards, autographs, and game-used memorabilia. We're always accepting consignments of high-end premium sports treasures or entire collections. Please register for our next auction and bid now at goldenauctions.com. That's golden with an I. We at Golden Auctions are committed to providing unsurpassed customer service for the discriminating collector. That's exactly why we're the leader in the industry. Visit goldenauctions.com or call 856-767-8550. Remember, Golden Auctions. We don't just break records, we shatter them.
Okay, we are back, and on the phone with us right now is our good friend Derek Grady from Heritage.
He's not on the phone.
Oh, Derek's not with us?
Well, he had no, listen. Well, he's still with us.
Actually, he was in. I think he's in Memphis, but he said he would hook up with us. But
right,
since he's not here, he's not
happens.
here. Rico, why don't you tell us about our good friends at the CSA show?
Very exciting, Tom. CSA shows is proud to present the Chantilly show being held.
Chantilly.
That's what I said.
You said Chantilly.
Well, that's what you have it down here. Chantilly.
It says a CH.
Chantilly. Imagine this grown man can't spell. Being held March 29th, 30th, and 31st at the Dulles Expo Center in Chantilly, Virginia, just minutes from Dulles International Airport. Celebrating over 20 years at the same location, there'll be over 300 dealers exhibiting on over 100,000 square feet of space.
Our pal Joe Drellick.
Yeah, with both vintage sports cards and memorabilia as well as modern-day sports treasures. You won't have to look very far for that special card, bat, ball, or autograph. All of the major auction houses and third-party grading companies will be on hand, as well as many athletes and celebrity guests signing autographs and taking photographs with you. For more information, go to csashows.com. That's the Chantilly Show, March 29th through the 31st. See you there.
Good man, Rico. Good job.
Well, you know,
Listen,
it's
Stan
one of
Orr asked if you had anything in your drink. Stan, I was only kidding.
This is a Coca-Cola.
He has a plain Coke, which is loaded with sugar, bad for his cholesterol,
Yeah, this is
bad for his weight.
I would never. You kidding? On the
What
show,
are you drinking that
drink?
garbage for?
Well, you gotta. You know why? To get home.
Really?
Yeah, the caffeine in here, so I
And
won't
actually,
fall asleep.
we do not drink when we're on the air. We drink prior to that. So we have our annual weekly martini before we come on the air with our dinner, and then
Nothing wrong with
all
that.
hell breaks loose. But anyway, what else? We got a few minutes left. A lot of good stuff happening in the collectibles world. There's some great auctions. I was on the last couple of days. I've been really perusing the internet, and there's some great stuff happening. Leland's has another great auction coming up. Mile High has one going. Memory Lane has a great auction going. REA, there's some good stuff going on.
You know
Good
what? You know what's it's surprising to me that these cards are still available. Any of them. In other words, cards like Cobb and Ruth and all that, because there was no industry. There's no, card industry collecting cards. Was there? I mean, people would do it because they liked the player.
And you know what it was back then, though? I think with the fact that the tobacco cards that came in cigarette packs, I think people probably kept them as I don't know. They kept them as souvenirs or what.
Yeah, but
listen,
over the years,
I'm
Tom.
going to throw a question out to our guys, our collectors, the Stans, the Rays. So do you guys focus yourselves on, if you're working on a collection, whether it be a T206, Diamond Stars, do you guys work on just the Hall of Famers yourself? Or do you go for the whole shebang, the commons, and try to collect the whole set? Let us know that, because I'm really curious about that.
What would you do?
Well, I mean, the way I've always done it is
Rick said
I've done it two ways. As you know, I've been working on my T206 collection for about 30 years.
Yeah.
And they're getting tougher to find. I'm trying to do them mid to high grade.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I do is when I do collect other cards, I strictly go for Hall of Famers.
Okay.
I try to stick with the Hall of Famers. Many times I'll buy and I know a lot of our collector friends do it. I'll buy a Hall of Famer from another set, hold on to it for a little while, flip it, and then use that to buy a T206 card or two or three.
Okay.
So I mean that all depends on on what it is. But I try to stay with the Hall of Famers. You know what I'm starting to really pay attention to is I've never been a big memorabilia guy.
Yeah.
But there's some unbelievable memorabilia out there. There are some incredible pieces of memorabilia out there.
I mean,
a good friend of ours, Joe Tomasulo, just bought a Christy Mathewson's. I think it was his
contract?
First contract.
You're kidding.
First
Wow.
contract.
I mean, that's
yeah, I mean, obviously it's a very expensive piece, but congratulations, Joe. And by the way, for you guys, next week's show, our good friend Lou Blassie, our producer, is going to be traveling. He's going to be on assignment, moving out to the West Coast for a week. So we are going to be pre-recording next Wednesday's show this coming Monday. So the show is going to be recorded 2 days prior. So when you're listening, it is not going to be live, but we'll still throw out some type of a question of 2 or 3 for you guys.
We should be live by that also.
Well, Rico, I mean, we can't because Louis back in Boston. We're here.
I mean live.
Lou, where you headed, by the way?
Not dead.
California?
California, yes.
Yeah, whereabouts?
Los Angeles.
L.A., just some business?
All right.
Mixed.
Little business, little
Business
pleasure?
and pleasure.
Good for you, good for you. You're not joining another station out there or anything, are you?
No.
He doesn't want to live in L.A., do you?
No, I do not. That's one of the things with this project, how much time I have to spend out there.
Yeah,
so
really?
that's-
Well, that's good. That's good. And you've got some great stuff happening, huh? You got some little projects on the side that you're working on. Also, Louie's got the Sirius Radio Fantastics. What is it, Lou? Why don't you tell us a little bit about it? We have about a minute left. If you guys are fantasy baseball freaks, Lou Blassie's the guy to go to.
It's the Fantastics Insider Baseball Show. We're normally on Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 1 on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. And you go to insiderbaseball.com. Check us out, draft software, if you're still doing fantasy drafts before the season opens next week, and in-season coverage and analysis.
That's great. Wow.
All right, pal. Listen, now we're just about done. This is actually going to be our last broadcast from Beef O'Brady's.
Yeah.
We're going to be heading home.
Great.
We're going to be heading back to Boston in about 3 weeks. So next week we're going to be working from your house and my house.
Yes, and
have some fun.
Hopefully, knock on wood,
it'll all work.
It'll all work, right?
With that being said, Louis, have a great week.
Yeah, Louis.
Rico, have a great week. And to our listening
you
audience
too.
and viewing audience, happy collecting.
Happy.